gosh, I am so excited to say this for the first time in almost 2 full years. Welcome once again, people, to another episode of the Swan Chronicles. The last episode I posted was May 1st of 2021. So it's been a while. I've grown in more ways than one, but I am so excited to talk to you guys once again on this amazing podcast. We're gonna kick it off with a new format. I'm so excited. The new format, I'm gonna be reading Reddit stories. I'm not one to really go on Reddit, so we're gonna try this out. So for my first episode back, we're gonna listen to some Reddit D&D horror stories. These are gonna be some D&D horror stories about bad players, bad GMs, stupid campaigns, just bad, dumb D&D stories. So let's get right into it. So this thread was originated by a user by the name of Abstract Thoughts, and it reads, "Let's hear your worst D&D horror stories." I'm sure this post has been done before, but I thought it would be fun to share some things. I might as well go first. I recently started DMing, and as an inexperienced DM, I decided to use the opportunity to introduce a couple friends of mine to D&D so they wouldn't be so fast to realize my mistakes. I started by getting an adventure online called Haven Cross, and I was very eager to ensure I knew everything there was about that world. The NPCs, the encounters. I brought the players into the game, excited to guide them on this adventure, and everything went to complete hell, as it does. The basic story was to get to a town and join the guild. The first quest for the guild was a delivery mission, which for the first half is uneventful. On the way back, a fairy dragon messes with the PCs, the playable characters, keeping them awake at night, demonstrating exhaustion mechanics. And they run into many fun little encounters and events. They join a satyr party, they help a gnome who forgets where he set up traps, things like that. Unfortunately, both players decided to play evil characters, and the entire story has now devolved so much that they have murdered other guild members, started fights with ogres despite being squishy level 1s, mouthed off to entire squadrons of guards, robbed, or tried to rob, every NPC they have encountered, and finally they were arrested. By force. I know that I'm not that experienced as a D&D player myself. I finally have a consistent campaign that I'm part of, and I love it. But this sounds like very ambitious murder hoboism. I feel as though the DM is not there to tell his story, but to guide the players on theirs. But I also think that the players are missing out on a lot of fun things by forcing me miles away from this story. The things I had planned to happen are far more interesting and fun than anything I will be able to make up on the spot. Maybe I need to be meaner and kill one of them off so they stop playing like total idiots. Who knows? Yeah, like I said, I've never DM'd. I don't plan to, so kudos on that. It seems like too much organization for me, but yeah, it sounds like these guys are a little bit terrible. Maybe killing them off would show them in this world that there are actual consequences. Which, I mean, it looks like you've tried doing because you finally arrested them by force, but I think a little bit practice, man. A little bit of practice will get you so far in this DMing journey. Like I said, I have no ambition to ever do this, but good story. Let's keep on. Tavelian posts, worst 2 games. Game number 1. I was the DM in 3.5 edition and didn't know how to say no to my players. I was trying to put a game together for a couple close friends, but one never showed up and the other was too intimidated by other players at the table. The worst 2 probably were Super Min-Max Vampire Lord with 0 LABS and the I'm gonna play Deadpool and try to R-word all the priestesses because I'm edgy. They constantly went out of their way to mess with the NPCs and the other players, and I constantly got mad because I didn't know the rules nearly as well as I thought I did to be able to say no to them. That campaign probably taught me to be more stubborn, but that is the only good thing about this entire experience. Um, yeah, the DM I play with, he's kind of a pushover, but he allows it for the humor and the camaraderie of the players that are in our campaign. Shout out to my brother Chris, who's the DM. uh, but let's continue. Story number 2. I was a player. This DM was one of those I am God and I will smite all of you because F you. My first death, I was trying to tame a bear as a dread necromancer, 3.5 again, and he explicitly told me to roll an equivalent of a persuasion check. Same modifiers as handle animal, and I nat 20'd it. Good job. He had ruled beforehand that a nat 20 means an auto success. He then pulls the rug out from under my feet and says because I didn't roll a handle animal, the bear bites my hand off, ignoring DR, and I bleed to death. No save, no nothing. The entire rest of the campaign is just a circle jerk of him killing off anyone he didn't like to impress his real life friends. When I finally left, he yelled at me for being a wuss. That was the last time I have ever, or will ever, touch 3.5 again. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, I mean, I'd be turned off by that too. That's unfortunately you had to play with such a terrible DM. I've never played 3.5 myself, but um, yeah, so I don't have any room to speak. But let's go to the next story. Here's a story from the real Garbador. My first time DMing about 8 years ago was the worst nightmare of a campaign I've ever experienced. Part of that was my inexperience in the role, but mostly the players were just awful. All 6 of them were new to playing. There were all the usual suspects, nobody paying attention in combat, taking forever to make decisions, having to check every spell with the one player handbook at the table, mine, and spending more time flirting with barmaids and making Monty Python jokes than on actually following plot leads. The worst, though, was their characters and how they played them. I gave them a lot of flexibility in who they made and tried to help when they asked. I wanted a group of people excited about their characters and not feeling forced into predetermined roles. Unfortunately, what I got was a party containing a gnome barbarian with low strength and con, of course, a cleric too ashamed of her heritage to cast healing spells, and a wizard who preferred melee, to name a few of the most memorable examples. Oh, and there was a bard, so, useless. Hey now, I just started a campaign where I had to roll a bard, and I can't wait. I'm so barbarian. It's it's going to be a nice breath of fresh air, so don't ruin this for me. Every single battle was a test of how much I needed to help them through metagaming, fudged rolls, or deus ex machinas to keep away from a TPK. Nobody ever bothered to learn the rules or figure out what might keep them alive. The last time we ever played, all but one player went unconscious and one player died against 4 goblins. Oh my lord. Just 4 regular goblins who took down a party of 6 adventurers running recklessly into melee and away from the cover I had graciously given them. Honestly, they all deserve to be unalived. Yeah, that is terrible. Oh, I have no words. I'm going to roll for cringe. 18. Yeah. 18 cringe. On to the next one. I have no words. This is from user deleted because they have been deleted. I have one. It'll take a while to tell though because I want to describe all party members. It was a fresh 5e campaign in a homebrew world. I invited 4 friends new to 5e. I was relatively new to 5e myself. The first guy is called Jay. Jay likes making edgy, dark, quote unquote, cool characters. He takes a 12-year-old elf girl who likes to poke things and hates to be talked to or touched. If she gets talked to or touched, she will attack you. Her name is 12K. The second guy is C. He played a stereotypical heroic knight, but played him as a murder hobo. He thought he was really smart and would boss everyone around at the table without remorse. He would interrupt players and call them stupid, and would talk over the DM and ignore me. I guess I figured that was the DM that was... Okay. Third guy is L. L is an inexperienced AD role player. I don't know what that means. He likes to play crazy evil guy. He plays a cultist drow wizard of Baal and stereotypically goes around unaliving whatever he can, unable to get along with the party. On top of this, he is purposely ruining the only decent player's plan by being a tool in-game. Of course. Last is M. M is my best friend and the only guy in the party I liked as his character. He played a dragonborn paladin of Bahamut with a good backstory. He did expect special snowflake sword, but was overall a pretty good player. He stopped people from talking over me. The problem, they kept effing up when Mitch wasn't there, infighting, killing quest givers, doing stupid actions, arguing, talking over the DM, not listening to me, murdering people all the time. I kicked them all when I lost my voice because I had to yell for them to listen to me. They would not keep on track and effing listen. I learned from the campaign, no matter how much you like the guy, don't invite disruptive people. Wait a second. I want to rewind here. For anonymity, we'll just call this guy M. The problem, they kept effing up when Mitch wasn't there, so I guess we know who. Let's roll perception. 17. Yeah, I'm pretty sure M is Mitch. Yeah. Just for kicks and giggles, let's do one more just because I gotta go to work and pay bills. Also, I got my campaign tonight because it is Wednesday, my dudes. This one is by Cheat is Not Dead. This is very mild, but for my first game I ever ran, I had that guy in my group. He was the only one who had experience with D&D, but an earlier edition, and so he thought he was real hot shot. Also, he got drunk every single game to the point where he couldn't play. He has since had a total meltdown, burned every bridge available to him, was fired from his job, moved back to his hometown, and his life just fell apart. Pause this story. I like having at least one or two drinks when I'm in my sessions, but I'm so careful to not overdo it. Anyways, we were playing Lost Mines of Phandelver, and I added a couple early low-power magic items to make things interesting. My girlfriend found the first one, and he immediately accuses me of favoritism. Wow. As a brand new DM, this accusation really got under my skin. I doubt he remembered even saying it 10 minutes later, but it just really upset me. The next session, he invited a friend who I allowed to play as an NPC. He had just come from watching Mad Max and thus threw the character notes I had about him out the window and started doing the cruddiest Mad Max impersonation. He then also got drunk. The two of them then encouraged the party to go on a maximum murder hobo and get themselves blacklisted from Phandalin, completely failing the quest and causing me to have to throw out literally the whole starting adventure. Around that time, he needed to have a meltdown, so the campaign ended. Cruddy time was had all around. Found a much better group now, though. I'm so glad you found a much better group. Man, I I think I would severely dislike playing with people like that. I'm sure everybody does, but I would especially hate it. Um, man, I I have no words for that one either. Invited a friend. Wow. Well, first of all, he should have asked the DM to invite a person, even if it was to just play as an NPC. Um, Plus incorporating Mad Max into it. Come on now. Like you'd have to be drunk to incorporate Mad Max into D&D. Um, but yeah, he really does sound like that guy, especially telling the girlfriend who found the first low power magic item that, accusing you of favoritism for that. Embarrassing. Anyways, I think that'll about do it for this episode. Like I said, I'm going to try being more consistent with this podcast or this version of the podcast. Um, because, life gets thrown at you. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for letting me read these stories to you. I missed everybody so much. Um, Once I get my podcast back up and successfully running again, I'll share some links and maybe, have some bonus rounds or something. Maybe call this roll for cringe. I don't know. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think though. Anyways, that is going to be it for the Ginger Swan Chronicles for right now. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I just want you guys to remember that all of you are important, all of you are special, and that I love all of you.